Nowhere to run. Time to play.
Hello everyone. Today we are going to be unboxing another figurine for the week. Here we have is a figure from the manufacturer and distributor, Good Smell Company. A figurine part of their FREEing B-style line is a 1/4 scale PVC figure of the character Hanjuri or Juri Han from the video game series Street Fighter. As always, before we unbox the figurine, just in case you didn't know, Street Fighter is a Japanese fighting game that made its first debut on arcades in 1987 that was developed and published by Capcom. The original Street Fighter was then ported to the MS-DOS and PC Engine or TurboGrafx CD. Moving on in the timeline, the series having critically acclaimed sequels like Street Fighter II The World Warriors released in 1991 and Street Fighter III New Generations in 1997. Came the fourth installment of the series by the name Street Fighter IV that originally released on arcades in 2008 then to other game platforms in 2009. Developed by DIMS and developed and published by Capcom. There was soon a Super Street Fighter IV being too large of an update that Capcom decided to release it as a standalone. That was released in 2010, developed by DIMS and developed and published by Capcom. This is the game that the character Hanjuri or Juri Han was first introduced. The character was created by Yoshinori Ono that brought the idea of a Korean fighter. So this is art and illustrations before the character was finalized to the Juri we know today, the South Korean taekwondo fighter employed by S.I.N or S.I.N. Going ahead of the timeline, Street Fighter VI is the most recent installment in the franchise that was released on consoles in 2023, developed and published by Capcom. So this figure's design is based on her appearance in the Street Fighter VI game. Just like Chun-Li's B-style, while the game's artist is Fujioka Kaname, this figure is sculpted by Koji Nihashi, Dragoncraft, and Yozakura. So as you can see here, this is the figurine's box rotating in 360. As always, without holding you guys back, let's just take Juri Han out of her packaging and see how the figurine looks. Too many people in my corner, so I gotta make it. I'm in it for the love of winning, spot of all the hatred. They gon' say what they gon' say regardless. Not afraid to fail, I try my hardest. Power up, the time is now, I got this. I'm on fire like the darkness. Here we have is Juri Han straight out of her packaging. She does come with two layerings. So in the top there we do get is Juri Han, the figurine, and also the bunny ears. And you can see here she is wrapped with plastic to protect the figurine from getting any damaging during transit. So here at the bottom layer it does come with her base, which is actually a lot larger than some of the other FREEings I do own, but it does come with protective layering. So let's just take everything out. So as you can see here, it does come with this instructions guide where it shows you how to remove the bunny ears and also place them together. And besides that, it's just like every other FREEing. So as you can see here, it does come with a base which is quite large actually, and it's actually quite reflective. But just like every plastic base, just be careful because it can get scratched easily. And here at the bottom it is transparent, and you can kind of see it's quite reflective, so you could see the hand in the top of my area here. And you can see it does come with 4 pegs on the base with 1 metal rod and 2 plastic ones on one each side here. And at the bottom, just like every other figurine, we do get information such as Capcom, all the rights reserved, and made in China. And besides that, it's not really much to show you. You do get us a little bit of a grid pattern here at the bottom, but not really much else because it's just, you know, a black base. But do be careful because this can get scratched easily. So you do get this little extra piece of acrylic here, which I think goes onto the base. So when you put Juri's figure onto the base, it goes onto one of the heels. Which I don't know why this was in already on it, but you know, just remember to place that before placing Juri Han onto the base. So here we have is Juri Han's figurine, but there's one thing I did notice by her heels is actually damaged here, or the black paint is scraped off here on the heel. which kind of makes sense because there's one thing I did want to say. I don't know why the figurine isn't barefoot. I know I've heard a lot of people say that they wanted the figurine barefoot because if you don't know, she's like barefooted while fighting because she's a taekwondo fighter. But you know, it's understandable. I guess they try to go with the bunny ear dress and stuff like that. But here we have is the heel. You can kind of see it does have two holes here on one of her right leg here. The heel actually is a light glossy painted on, but you can see the, how do you say, I feel like they should have made her spike ankle brace, I think you call it. And I also noticed here on this side is also damaged. You can kind of see here is actually white. It's the paint being scraped off, which is quite disappointing. It's actually really noticeable. Well, the back heel isn't, but the front is. But besides that, the glossy finish on the heel looks quite nice. I feel like they should have gave that to the spikes here, but they gave it more of a flat finish, which I feel like it could have been more reflective with the spikes. It could have been a lot like more, make the figurine pop a little bit more. But just like every other freeing, here we have is her leg here, which does have fishnets, and you kind of see there is muscle underneath the fishnets. So it actually looks quite detailed there, but it's a little bit hard to tell because the fishnets do cover the paintwork of the skin here. But from what I'm seeing, it's actually quite decently painted, and you can kind of see muscle line and all that here on the back, and it's actually quite detailed. But because she has fishnets, because it is a B-style freeing figure, it's gonna be quite hard to tell unless you stare at it. And here we have is her other side here, and she does have this long belt strap here that goes around her leg, so do be careful with that because it kind of rubs off the leggings. And here's the back side here. You kind of see is her bunny suit going around her bottom here, all the way to the back here where it does have a little bunny tail because it is like a bunny outfit. Here's the side. Her leg is actually quite thick a little. Here's the front of her suit, which you kind of see, just like I said, this long strap that goes around her leg, which is actually movable, but I'd say be really careful. Don't really hold it from the waistline because this can actually, it feels like it could snap off, and also the paint can rub against each other, so do be careful with that. So yeah, so it's actually quite hard to tell, but you can kind of see here underneath the strap, it does have crease lines here where they do have, which is actually quite detailed with the bunny outfit. And so as you can see here, the yin and yang is on her belt here. And as I said, you can kind of see there's a little bit of a scrape here from the paint. So when you do handle it, be careful with the strap because it kind of goes up and down and you don't want to rub the paint against each other. But as I stated here, I think they did a nice paint job. It's a little bit sparkly. I don't know if my camera could capture, but her color of her bunny suit is actually has a little bit of shine to it. Here we have is her glove here from her right hand. The same thing as her bunny outfit. It's actually a little bit sparkly, like her suit here, and a little bit on the belt as well. But her hand is actually quite, you know, decently sculpted. We do get us a little bit of detail on her palm, and just like the other unboxing I did, it does come with turquoise painted fingernails, and there's a little bit of crease on the glove, which is a little bit detailed, but it's kind of hard to tell unless you look real close to it. Here we have is the back as well. It's with this strap around it, it's kind of hard to see the back, but you do get is a little bit of crease lines on the bunny outfit because she's doing her pose. And as you can see here, we have is a view of her back, which does have a design of like a spider, which I actually first thought it was a tattoo, but it's actually an athletic tape that she has around her back. But having a closer look here, we do kind of see that they actually imprinted a spider onto her back and painted over it. I don't know if my camera can capture, but you can kind of see a little indent of where it goes a little bit down to, you know, have the outline of the spider. But it kind of makes it look more like a tattoo than a athletic tape. But it still looks actually really well painted, but it still kind of looks a little bit off. Here in the bottom here, you could see is the indent of her spine from her back, which you know is quite detailed. And besides that, I think on here on her arm you can kind of tell a little bit more. You can kind of see it has her skin, a little indent, and then the black of the tape of the spider around her body. But besides that, it's not really much of an issue. It kind of looks quite, you know, really well and detailed. Here we have is her arm here, her left arm. Well, here we have is the underside here of her armpit, which it's kind of hard. I'm doing my best here. You can kind of see, this is the best I can get it. It's actually sculpted quite well. You do see a lot of detailed lines here at her skin on her armpit, and we have here is her elbow, which is also sculpted well. Here's her other left palm, which is having her open palm. Same thing as her right arm is actually detailed here by her hand area here. Fingers being twisted up, also having turquoise colors, and same thing, quite well detailed here with also the crease lines on the skin folds, which is actually detailed as well. Here we have is her front, which you can see more of the pattern design of the spider. Again, I actually thought it was a tattoo, but it's actually an athletic tape that she has around her body. You kind of see here, it's the same type of little indent in between the black and her skin color. But besides that, you can kind of see the little lines here of muscle around her body, which actually looks really detailed, and I actually really do like. But besides that, it looks quite well painted. So here we have is her face sculpt, which the eyes are well painted, just like every other figurine that I mentioned. The paint is really great. You can see the lips here with a little bit of open mouth showing her teeth. This is her side view, which looks decent. She does have both eyes painted on. I know it's kind of hard to tell when it's standing up, but because her bangs are covering her left eye. But yeah, you can kind of see the sculpt of her hair looks quite decent. You can kind of see the red line going over. I am a little bit more of a fan of her original look. So here we have is her hair. On the back side here, you do get is the bunny, the strap of the bunny ears. Here's the back side of her twin tails. Do get sculpted here on their hair, which they did add a lot of lines, which gives it a lot more detailed. And here we have is the rings around her twin tails, which kind of makes it look like she has horns, but you know, that's her design. But don't worry, we will be switching these white pegs of bunny ears for the regular bunny ears. But here's the top view, which you can kind of see here. It's quite nice. I do really like it. I don't really have much bad to say. Here's the other side of her face, which again, you can see her ear on the side, which is sculpted quite well. But besides that, I don't really have much bad to say. Besides having her like shoe area a little bit damaged, and you know, maybe they could have worked a little bit on the indents of her, you know, body tape. It's actually a really well and great sculpted figure. I actually really like the way this looks. So let's just add this onto the base and see how the figurine looks. This is one of the bunny ears that it does come with, as you can see here. As you can see here, the paint is actually quite well painted with a glossy-ish finish to it, and it's a little bit detailed with a little bit of a crease on the front here where it does bend forward. But besides that, not really much else to show you, so let's just add this to Juri Han. So here we have is the other bunny ear, which I think this is the left side or the right side. But here we have is it's more straight up, same glossy finish to it. It's quite reflective and it's actually decently painted. So not really much else to show, it's just a regular bunny ear. So let's just add this to the top of the figurine. So just like I stated in my unboxing of Chun-Li, here we have is Juri Han and Chun-Li side by side, their B-style versions. So as you can see here, they're actually quite well sculpted. I really do like each in their own poses because it kind of matches their character in the game. But I feel like Juri Han looks a lot more like of the game style rather than Chun-Li, because Chun-Li looks like she's more of a different anime-ish type style, while Juri Han captures more of the game's like facial look, if that makes sense. But besides that, it actually looks quite well paired together. I don't know if they're going to be releasing any other in the Street Fighter line, which maybe they'd probably make, if I'm assuming, probably a Cammy 1/4 scale B-style, maybe. That's a maybe, because don't quote me, but if they do release anything of Street Fighter related, that's probably going to be the next one. Alright guys, so that was Good Smile Company's freeing 1/4 scale PVC figure of the character Juri Han Bunny version. So all in all, I gotta say is I actually really like the way this figurine's sculpted. I love her pose because it kind of captures her games, you know, when she does her pose, similar to that. And the face sculpt matches quite well to the game, with a little bit of an anime aesthetic to it, but it's actually quite well. I don't like the way that well, this is what everyone says, but I agree that she shouldn't have come with her heels. I feel like they should have kept her barefoot, because she is like a taekwondo fighter, and no, not because of a fetish, but because you know, the character is known for being barefooted. But I understand why they left the heels, because it's, you know, supposed to be a bunny outfit. That's understandable. And I kind of don't like the way they painted the black athletic tape around her that makes the spider. It kind of looks a little bit off when you like get a closer look at it. At a distance it looks good, but closer it looks a little bit off. But you know, but like I said, I think it makes sense because they try to keep the outline there, so when people paint it, it kept the outline of it made it easier for them to paint. But I understand why they did it. I don't know if you do get this figurine, if yours heels are gonna come damaged, but if they do, I actually don't know. Maybe you could return it. I don't know. I never really, you know, followed up with something that came damaged like this. Thank you guys all for the support. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll leave you guys off with the figurine rotating in 360 and a bit of close-up shots. And as always, see you guys in the next one. Alright, she should have come with her barefoot. I'm just saying.